Hi, this is one of the other videos in this series, and this video is going to highlight the different interactions or forces or effects that stabilize bonds. In biochemistry, we talk a lot about bonds, a lot about stabilization, a lot about folding. So this is the beginning of that focus. Now, the other thing that I came up with for this is this acronym. So there are 6 different types of forces or effects that stabilize bonds and also influence their folding. So the acronym I came up with, and I don't know if you can tell, but this is a TV, and it's a high definition TV, high definition. So when I thought about this acronym, one of the key words is effects, and when I think about a high definition TV, I think about the effects that the TV has visually. So if that helps you to remember it, I hope it's helpful. But the other thing that you need to remember with this acronym and this list of 6 different types of forces that stabilize bonds is that there is actually an order of going from strongest to weakest. So I have the numbers noted on the bottom for your convenience, where 1 is the strongest and 6 is the weakest. So the way that I lumped up this acronym is I have the strongest and the weakest here. I have 3 and 4, which are the middle ones in the middle, and then I have 2 and 5 over here. So as I go through each of these and highlight them, I will go in the order that they're in, from strongest to weakest. The other thing to remember is that with these videos, it's important to remember that you do need to go through on your own and elaborate in further detail for yourself to learn and understand these forces. So I will go through each of them in a very general way. So the first one that I'm going to talk about are hydrophobic effects. And whenever you have proteins, anything with bonds, anything with folding, there is always going to be hydrophobic effects involved. There's a lot of them. It doesn't matter how it's folding up, what's going on, hydrophobic effects are always present, making this the strongest. Number 2 are hydrogen bonds. And hydrogen bonds, if you think about it, a hydrogen bond by itself is quite weak. But when you have a lot of hydrogen bonds, hundreds, thousands, millions of hydrogen bonds, there's a lot of strength in that. So how I remember that is there's safety in numbers. So standing alone, a hydrogen bond is not particularly strong, but when you have a bunch of hydrogen bonds, they are strong together, making them number 2 on our strong scale. Third is van der Waals, or known also as the London dispersion forces. Now, this one, the London dispersion forces are unique in the fact that in all technicality, this is actually stronger than hydrophobic effects. The reason why van der Waals or London dispersion forces are not recognized as the number 1 on the strong scale is that you have these positive and negative forces, but you just don't have a lot of it. So this boils down to a quantity issue where you have a lot of hydrophobic effects, and they basically outnumber the van der Waals or London dispersion forces. So remember, van der Waals or London dispersion forces are technically stronger, you just don't have as much of it to make it stronger than the hydrophobic effects. Our 4th one on our strong scale list are the ion pairs. Now, ion pairs, you have a positive, you have a negative, they interact simultaneously. Our 5th on our list are disulfide bonds. And disulfide bonds, if you can remember D and D, disulfide bonds, and you have no direct folding. You don't have any direct folding with disulfide bonds. And the reason for this is that disulfide bonds, they don't have any specificity. So, but they are held together until they decide they want to separate. So they're a little different. The final one are dipole-dipole. And dipole-dipole are rare. And compared to the influence that hydrophobic hydrogen bonds and van der Waals or London dispersion forces have, they really far outnumber dipole-dipole forces. So I hope that this is a helpful way for you to remember the order of these. And if you want to remember high definition TV, high definition for the effects that stabilize bonds and their folding, I hope it serves to be useful for you. That's it, and I hope you have a great day.